You fucking son of a bitch, get battered and bullshit. That's for me. That's for me once I boot it back up. So,
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and this is the month of October, as we all know, is spooky season. And very much like I did last year, where a lot of the content on the channel is going to be themed around like more horror and supernatural and, you know, suspense and stuff like that. I want to try to do that again this year. So for this very first video of our October month, we are actually doing a ranking video, but it is not my ranking video this time. This is actually my husband Kevin's ranking video. So hi Kevin, how are you? This is my husband. So this list is primarily his list of his favorite horror / suspense thrillers. You know, I wanted to leave it more general than just to have it basically just be horror movies, because, you know, there are more to do with Halloween than just horror, but suspense is a big part of Halloween as well. So, like most ranking videos, this is a personal list. This is his list completely. So it will probably vary from your own. So if it's different, comment down below. Let us know what your thoughts are and what some of your top 5 are. Quick question before we get started. What to you makes a really good horror / suspense movie? What's something you look for?
It's not necessarily the slashers, the blood, the gore. To me, it's always the psychological thriller point. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm assuming that's reflected in your list. Which, by the way, I have no idea what's on this list. I wanted to learn with the audience, so that's why I told them don't tell me what your list is. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this and all of my videos. I really do appreciate it. If you are new to the channel, hi, my name is Will. I do this sort of thing. Bunch of dumb stuff on the internet. If you do enjoy this video or other videos that I posted, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And I do stuff pretty much weekly, and I have a lot of other social media that you're more than welcome to follow. Kevin is also on the internet as well. You are at Zenmajoo on YouTube. He does a lot of different book reviews and other things like that, so feel free to check him out. All of his links are in the description below. So without further ado, let's get started with this list. So if you would please give us your number 5. Number 5 is, it's actually a full franchise. It's the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
Okay, so you're doing the franchise for Nightmare on Elm Street.
I have to.
Okay, so you went classic, which is interesting, but I'm also surprised it's so low on your list. So what got it onto the top 5?
It got on the top 5 because it is a classic based on when I was growing up. Yes, I am not old. And, yeah. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, let's just roll with it. Yeah. So Nightmare on Elm Street, because of the different films within the franchise, they've gone from really good to really bad. Yes. And they've gone from regular horror to what the S horror, based on a storyline. Okay, so question. When you talk about what the F horror, are you talking about it goes beyond what the original movie kind of did and it went like it? Are you basically saying it jumped the shark? Pretty much. It jumped the shark. Okay. Pretty much. Now, I personally, like, I'm not a huge horror fan, as most people know if you've watched my videos. I'm not a huge horror fan. But yes, I have seen a few of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Most notably was, I think it was called Freddy's Dead. It was whichever one had his daughter in it. I remember that one. And of course, everyone remembers the iconic scene with Johnny Depp in the very first movie, where he gets sucked in the bed and then just a pool of blood fires out from that one. That's like one of his first roles, if I remember right, with that one. And of course, Robert Englund is a legend. Englund is a legend, and you can't get more iconic than the Freddy glove. Yeah, of course, you can't get more iconic than that. So that's a good number 5. Is there anything else you want to talk about with it before? I think the favorite for me on Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, which one's your favorite? Because you picked a franchise, so which one is your favorite?
I would have to say Dream Child.
Which one was that?
That was the one where...
It was like 3 or 4?
It was 3 or 4. I don't really recall what it was.
It'll be right here, whichever one it actually is. I'll look it up. But.
It was actually with Kristen, who's the main character of the first 3 movies, becomes pregnant with Freddy's baby.
Oh, that's creepy.
And that's, yeah. Really.
Okay.
So it was just the whole way they did that movie. There was a lot more up-to-date graphics involved,
Right.
and it was so much better.
Okay.
So yeah,
That's cool. So, very good start to the list. Very good start to the list. So, what is number 4? We'll just roll right into number 4.
Number 4, I really love this movie. As a matter of fact, I didn't care for it at first when I first watched it, but after watching it 2 to 3 times thereafter, Cabin in the Woods.
Okay. That's actually really
That's
good.
a huge psychological thriller. I loved it.
But Cabin in the Woods is the one that's kind of like, it starts as like a traditional horror movie, but then you realize it's much more.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one with the underground. Oh.
Ancient civilization.
Yeah, okay. And just reference, this is, I'll just throw a spoiler warning if you've never seen half of these movies. But yeah, that's the one where it's got Sigourney Weaver, Chris Hemsworth is in it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that's a fun one. That's one, I don't even know if I would say, I mean, technically it is horror, but it's more like horror comedy if you really look at it. Because it's actually very funny toward the end, especially with the two operators. Because there's 2 operators in the movie, right? The 2 guys running the
underground scene, yeah.
Right, and they're more so there for comedy relief.
They were using technology to bring back the old world ways instead of yeah.
So why does that one make your list? Like
I like the fact that they were utilizing each person in the film as an element to bring back the ancient ways. So they needed the blood every time somebody died. You noticed the blood would run down over the pattern or over the glyph.
Okay.
So it was kind of cool that way. I just liked how they brought it up to date with technology and how it may be done today if it actually happened.
Okay.
So it's kind of believable in a way.
It is a little bit more believable. It's one I've seen clips in passing. It's one I've seen you watching on TV. I think the reason I think that one is a lot of people's favorites because I hear it make a lot of people's lists in terms of like their favorite sort of horror style movie because it breaks the mold and it when it initially came out I think people weren't expecting that sort of twist reveal of it all being kind of like a setup for something more and I think that's what it took it away from your traditional horror and gave it a little bit more of something for people to put it apart from your traditional horror type movie. So that's a really good pick for number 4.
It makes you think that it actually could happen.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if it could because it is still a lot of monsters and supernatural elements to it. But I understand what you're getting at with the possibilities. It could potentially become something more. So I think that's a really good choice. All right, number 3.
Okay, number 3 is actually a newer film. It's an Amazon Prime original. Actually, I stumbled across it about maybe 3 weeks ago.
We're going streaming. All right.
And it's called The Inheritance.
You're gonna have to give a brief synopsis of that movie. I haven't heard of it. So it came out like 2019, 2020?
I believe it was 2019. Yeah.
2019. Okay.
But The Inheritance is where a gentleman actually inherits the house from a distant relative, and when he moves in, he gets the feel and the overall family history comes up as he's living in the home.
Okay.
But it's not regular family history. It has to do with spell magic and witchcraft and voodoo and all this other good stuff. So yeah, I mean, it was really good because it was something that I haven't really seen before.
Do you happen to remember any of the actors in the movie and anybody well known?
Off the top of my head, no.
Okay.
I should have wrote them down.
That's okay. It's okay. It's not good. Trust me. When you watch enough movies, you start forgetting. Unless they're someone that you've seen in a lot of movies, you start to forget. And with horror, suspense movies, there's a certain niche for certain actors to go that route. So it just depends on. But that's cool. So So it is more so just because of the different subject matter that really kind of caught your eye with this one, or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was The Inheritance, and I was thinking, well, that's kind of like
Amityville Horror type thing.
No.
No. Okay.
No, Amityville Horror is a little bit.
That was more like a Possession and Exorcist, right? Okay.
And I mean, I would say check it out on Amazon Prime. It's free for
Okay,
Prime
yeah.
members.
You know what? Honestly, streaming movies have been killing it the last 2 years, especially with the Panda Express that we've been experiencing for the last year and a half. So, yeah, no, that's definitely a good recommendation, and it's got to be really good if it's outdone Cabin in the Woods and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, it was
so
really good.
that's very.
It was something you would not expect.
That's very
normally.
surprising.
Okay, that's the reason why I made the list at number 3.
That was number 3. All right, cool.
So number 2 is 13 Ghosts.
Oh wow.
And I love it as much as you know.
Yes, that is
13
one of your
Ghosts.
favorites.
I will watch it 10 times a month if I can.
That's pretty classic. And if you don't know, it stars Tony Shalhoub and Matthew Lillard and I think Jessica Alba is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like early. Like this is like what was the show she was on? Jessica Alba.
I don't watch much.
No, not Jessica Alba. Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel.
Yeah, that she was on. Was she on Dawson's Creek?
I think.
Was it Dawson Creek?
I never watched
It's
it.
not Party of 5. That was Neff Campbell. Neff Campbell was Party of 5.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting off topic. Sorry about that. So, the 13 Ghosts, why is it your favorite? I kind of already know why it's your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Just from a design standpoint, I think the house setting was
amazing.
Very uniquely designed.
Amazing.
I thought that was a really cool feature. It was gory to a degree, but not overly gory. So I think it's probably the least gory. Is it probably the least gory movie on your list that you have in terms of gore? Because the only other thing I would say gore-wise you had is Cabin in the Woods and Nightmare on Elm Street so far.
I don't think Cabin in the Woods was really all that gory. It was just basically kill, kill, kill. You really didn't see that much.
There was that elevator scene in Cabin in the Woods.
That was all the monsters, though.
I know, but they ate like all the guards and stuff like that. I do remember that part. That was pretty gory. But anyway, sorry.
To me, gore is literally watching somebody taking a dagger and putting it in their throat and scraping it slowly down and their guts come pouring out. Yeah.
Okay.
If it's something quickly, I don't consider that to be gore. If it's something where it's very dragged on with blood and guts and things like that, it turns me off.
And I usually consider gore anything beyond just a bunch of bullets. Like anything beyond just someone getting shot. Usually, I feel like it could be considered gore. So, besides the aesthetic, the design of 13 Ghosts, what else about that movie has stuck with you for so long that makes it one of your favorites?
I love the machine that actually ran the house.
Okay. How
it released each ghost. Again, it's more psychological about what are you going to run into next? What's going to happen next?
Right.
You didn't know. That's my favorite thing about movies, really, especially with horror.
Okay.
I guess you could say I'm more, I don't know.
No, it still follows horror. I'd say it's more supernatural horror that I think really, with a lot of what you're like, it's not necessarily like a Scream or a Halloween. You definitely lean more towards the supernatural side of it.
Yeah,
I don't consider
Scream and Halloween are just meh.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's slashers, and so there's an argument for Michael Myers being considered a supernatural horror villain, but I think he's more of just like a slasher villain. So, but no, that's a very surprising choice. Well, surprising not for me because I know that's one of your favorite movies, but for your average like horror movie person, I don't know if people really remember 13 Ghosts as much, but. I mean, I can definitely understand why it's stuck with you, and that's a really good number 2 choice.
Yeah.
So before we get to number 1, do you have any honorable mentions? Because honorable mention, it's hard to come up with lists, and I've done a few lists on here, and I know there's always that 1 or 2 that you want to put on the list, but if we restrict it to 5. So, do you have an honorable mention or 2 that you would like to bring to the table?
Of course I do.
All right. Which one?
Definitely The Craft.
Okay.
I love The Craft. You know that.
Which if you'd like, there is a retro review for The Craft on the channel right now. Link is in the description below. Feel free to check it out. But yeah, I know you love The Craft. The Craft is very 90s teen horror because I found it more comical than horror, but it's definitely an iconic movie. It is iconic, probably more so. Would you say in the queer community it's more iconic? Like there's something about the aesthetic of The Craft that appeals to a lot of people.
It does.
Yes.
It does because
I'm surprised that's not on your list. Actually, I'm very surprised.
Which one?
The Craft. I'm surprised you didn't put it on
I
your
was
list.
debating over it because the movie is such a cliche when it comes to a lot of people, and people have...
Ability to run away from danger is usually a good one.
You mean flail?
Yes. Yes, very much so. Okay. Alright, but I will agree, The Craft is very iconic. I'm surprised it didn't make your list, but I understand it being very of its time. Okay, so The Craft, what are the other ones? Horror Suspense.
Is it 1408, 1406?
Oh, 1408.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14. That was John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that was the repeat hotel dream, relive the day. It's like a evil version of Groundhog's Day.
I remember you bought that when where did we go? It was one of those like discount movies stores. It was a couple years ago, and you bought a bunch of DVDs.
Oh, it used to be in relation to GameStop, Movie Stop.
Movie Stop, yeah, and that was one of the ones I remember you picking up. Was for, like I remember 1408, Skeleton Key, and there was something else that you bought all at the same time.
Oh, I have a really good one.
Okay, go for it.
I forgot about it. This actually could have made the list. This is one from Netflix. It's an original. It is As Above, So Below, and.
Oh, wait a second. Was it? I don't know if that was exclusively Netflix. You're talking about the one like it's in Paris, right?
Yes.
That actually came out in theaters.
Oh, did?
That was a theater release. Yeah.
I saw it on Netflix.
That's not Netflix original, but no, I know that one. That was good. It was like the catacombs in France and stuff like that. And
that was just awesome.
That was cool. Yeah.
That was really awesome.
Cool.
But I think that's all I have.
That's all the honorable mentions?
Yeah.
All right. Number one. What's your number one?
You know this very well, so. I
Do
have
you?
it. Yeah, I bought it.
It starts with a C, right?
No.
Oh wow, then it's not the one I thought. Okay. I thought you were gonna say The Conjuring.
No.
No. Okay.
No, my number one is actually the Skeleton Key.
Oh, right. We just talked about it. Okay. All right. Wow. The Conjuring didn't make your list. Are you not a fan of The Conjuring? Or I thought you liked The Conjuring. Did you not like The Conjuring?
I did.
Okay.
But I'm reaching into more or less what really...
No, and that's cool. That's the entire point of the list. It's what speaks to you. What are the ones that stick with you for however long you've been into this genre? Like, which ones resonate with you? And sometimes it's not the mainstream ones, and that's why you can leave a different thing in the comments below. Go for it. All right. So, why is the Skeleton Key one of your favorite? I mean, your number one favorite? Why is your number one favorite?
The entire storyline. It's a person that is a caretaker for older people, and she's tired of what she's doing because she's tired of the system. So she goes to take care of a gentleman on an old plantation in New Orleans, and it's just amazing how people, or I shouldn't say people, but people that have been reliving through others or taking people's timelines away from them over and over and over again.
I appreciate you trying to keep this spoiler free as best as possible, because you're trying. I can see, I hear with the choice of words you're picking. You're trying to keep the spoiler free.
But the ultimate ending is what really got me. It's because, well, let me just put it this way. I'm not going to give you the full ending. I'm just going to say it doesn't work unless you believe.
Okay.
So when you see the ending of the movie and throughout the entire movie, you're going to see how that builds and builds and builds and builds, and all of a sudden at the end of the movie it's like bam,
It just hits you with the like out of nowhere.
yes. And the ending obviously to me was shocking because you couldn't follow the storyline to figure out what the ending was. Nice. That's my biggest thing with horror movies, such as Jason, with all the classics, Michael Myers, whatever. They're too predictable.
Okay.
Way too predictable.
Got you. So you like the ones that you don't see it coming. But anyway, no, that's I totally forgot that would have been considered your number one, but it makes total sense, and that's awesome. So, all right, well, that's it. That's your list.
That's pretty much it.
That's a very it's a very unique and eclectic list, and that's something I like. It's when it's not necessarily the go-to ones, and hopefully, if someone watching this, what people will watch, you know, maybe not a lot of people, but people will watch, hopefully. But one of the ones that you might have named that's not necessarily your mainstream ones, or ones that are, you know, the most popular, or that have maybe faded in the cultural consciousness. Somebody might be able to check it out now and be like, oh, I totally forgot about 13 Ghosts. 13 Ghosts was pretty dope. I forgot about that movie. And you recommended some good ones from just streaming, which is because streaming has a ton of them, especially this time of year. They dedicate like whole sections to it, so that's always makes for good television watching. So that's it. that's the rank list. So hopefully, if you do agree or disagree, comment down below. Let us know what you thought about it. And babe, thank you for joining me. This was
you're
fun.
very welcome. We live in the same home. So
I know.
How can I not?
Well,
You literally pulled me over to the camera and said, "Sit down. Give me your top 5 in horror." Okay.
well, that's not. Anyway, so. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy this type of video, feel free to check out more videos on the channel below. If you do agree or disagree with his list, let us know in the comments down below. Give me your top 5 on the list as well. I'd love to hear that. As always, thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on all social media lists at the end of the video. If you'd like to follow Kevin on social media, babe, where would they be able to follow you?
Definitely follow me on YouTube. You can also find me on Instagram at Zenmajoo. You can find me on Twitter at Zenmajoo. And also on Facebook, I have my own store, which I sell handmade items such as candles, jewelry, tarot card wraps, altar cloths, things like that. You can get those at spiritoftwilight.com. I think I'm done now.
Okay. All right, with that being said, like I said, you can follow me on all the links listed at the end of the video. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And of course, until next time, I will catch you later.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.